For me, this is a two-part question. One, a short-term response and a long-term response. And the short-term response begins with one of the things we heard today, and that was eliminating block scheduling. No one likes it, and it saves $2 to $3 million in eliminating that. There are a lot of, with the $630 million budget, there's a lot of room for fat, I guess. And I understand there's a budget floating around somewhere here. It's 700 pages long. And one of the things we know about that budget is that benefits increased by 50%, which is a substantial amount of money. That is something that should be looked at. We need to get a handle on the vendors and contractors. I think the dead people have come off of payroll and we've gotten rid of the 23-hour days, but there are still a lot of things built into the budget that should not be there. The most equitable way, I think, of dealing with having to cut $63 million is not to touch teachers, not to touch those personnel who directly serve our children, but outside of those areas, because they've been cut for the last 2 years, have a 10% cut across the board. It's the most fair way of doing it until we get a better budgetary process together. And a better budgetary process would be subcommittees beginning this process earlier, tightening up our financial procedures, and beginning forecasting 3 to 5 years out to anticipate what our expenses are, not waiting till we get them. Thank you.
One quick question.
Yes.
For those of us who are not that familiar with the block system, can you just give us a quick explanation of what block scheduling is?
Block scheduling are 90-minute classes, and it's been said for a number of years well, two things happen in block scheduling. One is kids' attention span is not great for after 90 minutes, and it doesn't allow schools to stagger lunch hours so that people can leave at different times so they're all out at the same time. And because of block scheduling, it limits what our children are able to take. There are no electives because of block scheduling. So the music you may have had or you wanted to take or other courses that you might be interested in, courses that may help our student get excited again about what's going on in the educational system are not available because of these block schedules that follow the system that we are now in. So I'm really glad to hear that that's going to be eliminated. And as Sue said, I don't know why it took so long. Which way are we going? This way or this way?
10% cut. We all saw the budget on Tuesday, a week before, 2 weeks before. Most of the chunk is sitting into the upper management system, like the big salaries, not the teachers, not the maintenance, but the upper salary part. I would say it's hard to us to, I'm not in the system yet, so it's really hard to make a forecast of where it should be cutting down. But my major concern is with the current board members, if any of you can answer to this, why do we need this director of evaluation department, which is costing us $200K? What kind of evaluation are we doing for this failing school? Right? Anybody has answer for that? We have this 200K money sitting right there for this department, which is having all those administration groups sitting there, receptionists, it's all costing us 200K, and our schools are still failing. What does this department do? What kind of evaluation has been done? So I still don't get that part, but yes, about the cut, I would say if we really wanted to cut, we should concentrate on the programs which is not being worked or nobody's following up with this program. If they're not following, that means they don't need those programs. So why are we paying for it? So basically, yes, that's what it is. And according to the whatever the budget is showing, it's very hard to make any cutment here unless and until we work on the upper management or working on those departments which doesn't even work.
Apart from the obvious areas that need to be reevaluated as overhead and so forth, there are rooms where there are teachers babysitting students who arrive late or are disruptive. Educators who make 60, 70, or sometimes up to 80,000 a year should be teaching. They should not be babysitting students who will be waiting a whole block of 80 minutes before they can re-engage into their educational curriculum. Apart from that, there are at least 2 or 3 security people there, security guards, to help out. Is it because we can't handle, we can't get tough on disruption? Well, now that we know that the alternative school is going into effect in September, that will help alleviate that situation, and it will put our money to better use. Secondly, have you ever been to any of our football games? The stands are empty, and the scores, they look like they're an error. Why not combine some of our athletic programs so that we can compete against the Press and St. Anthony's and other top athletic programs in our region? Why not put the best coaches and players on the courts of the field to play? It would bring back pride to our city and increase parent participation, fan interest, and save money. And lastly, let's cut out the programs where we have consultants that do not work. Let's have those programs removed.
Cutting $65 million from any budget is not an easy task. To say to cut here and there is not fair. The fair thing to do is to look at that $630 million plus budget to see where you can make some cost cutting. I'm not going to say cutting personnel is the way to go, but starting at the top, there's something needs to be looked at the leadership there. But to be fair to everyone, cost cutting, simple, easy, fast, and quick cost cutting measure can be implemented by doing energy auditing with all our public school system. Energy costs are always increasing in schools, in school operation. School operation and maintenance personnel are essential to the success of long-term energy strategies. For new and renovated buildings, operation and management staff can help make sure that energy strategy and technologies are part of the design. Reducing operating costs with Energy Smart School by retrofitting existing facility, which is cost-effective, easy, and quick to do, which can produce paybacks in less than 2 years. Lighting strategies present the easiest opportunity to lower energy consumption without expense. By turning off simple things, by turning off lights in unoccupied rooms can save 8 to 10% of lighting annually. Vending machines that are in our schools that are constantly running, beverage company would offer free device to shut those off when it's not in use. I also going to make a proactive recommendation.
$65 million is a lot of money. And the only one person I know that's a board member that has the entire budget is Ms. Lester, because she requested it. She's the only one with the 700 pages. And she has put it upon herself to go and read every single page and try to digest that. I don't think there's a soul up here who can figure out what to do with $65 million until they see the entire budget. The only thing that I do know is that they have an area called non-salary based. Yeah, that's Carol Lester's, okay? All right. Carol Lester got it, and so I know she gave it to him, she said so no problem. The fact still remains is that in the non-salary-based areas, there's an area called supplies and material. That's $6 million. We have not yet figured out what in the world is supplies and materials. That's $6 million. Also, the state has not given us our capital improvement money, and that's running into almost $4 million. So a lot of the things that have to be done in Dickinson High School and A. Harry Moore, because the Dickinson roof is leaking, we're going to have to take it out of our budget to make sure that those major repairs get done out of our pocket. So there are ways to cut costs, but $65 million, I don't know where it's coming from.
I have been fortunate to attend the budget meeting, and I was very disappointed that we actually voted on this budget. We were given this, nothing that you can understand. As a financial analyst, it was impossible for me to read it. We need more clarity and transparency in our administration. $65 million is a lot of money to cut at the end when a budget has been passed like this. From where I can look at, there's some area that we need to focus on cuts and gains. We can take a good look at our contracts, eliminate no bid contracts. If we have competition in our contracts, we will have more revenue. We can look to eliminate outside consultants.
we have enough resources to use within our schools. We have enough staff at 346 Claremont Avenue to use. We don't need to pay for outside consultants. Shared services. We can do shared services with the city of Jersey City. At the end of the day, we're all Jersey City, and we will all benefit from it with our property tax bill. Dickinson High School, we have a budget of $630 million. At Dickinson High School, our kids don't even have a chair to sit in.
I will have one follow-up question, actually. Does any of this, I'll ask Ms. Catherine first, but if anybody else on the board knows the answer to this question around the table, I would appreciate an answer. No bid contracts. In our budget, do we have any idea how many millions of dollars go into no bid contracts today?
We don't know exactly the numbers, but it is, what I was told from a board member, it is a huge number that's sitting out there.
I would differ with that. Under the state accountability regs right now, everything is bidded out every year except for professional contracts which come from professional services. So I think it might have been a bigger problem earlier, but now the I could talk all night about the restrictions on the CUSAC, but I think it's a good thing to look at. Definitely look at it, check it out, and see how it falls.